Good morning, this is the Radius 2 ST-245 curve points test with a Bachmann model 45575 Madras. Now, the thing with this locomotive is, and I was fooled, is it's got wires going to the tender. So I thought it's got pickups in the tender. Hark, the young knave is deceived. Well, not so young knave. There are no pickups in the tender of this locomotive. Anyway, let's do the radius 3 points test. So we'll go through here. Open like this. It is radius 3. And can we bring it back again, please? Same speed. Now, unless you've got major problems with how your track's laid, you're never going to struggle with radius 3. And can you take it through? This is a radius 2 into radius 2. You can bring it back, please. And this is tight. And it's important, if you use any track but curve points, that you test it. And can you bring it back, please? And you can see that is not an issue. Now, when you've got a locomotive with a tender, it's important you test, when you're testing track, that you run it in both ways. And you can see that struggling radius 2 to radius 2. You can tell the tightness of the track when you're running it slowly, it slows down. And now you saw, bring it back please, now you saw in the other direction where it was loco first, going in an anti-clockwise direction, it didn't. But you saw then going in this direction, it struggled. And we'll go back and show you again. So if you can change direction, please. Go through slowly, and it may even stop. And that's the point I've made. When you test track, make sure that you test with a tender locomotive in both directions. And you can see that is so tight, it is stopping. And that's radius 2 into radius 2. And you can see there, trying to keep going, there you go, you see it was just so tight it got stuck. Radius 2 into radius 2, tender first going anti-clockwise, it struggled. Whereas loco first going anti-clockwise, if you can bring it out please, it didn't. So as I say, with these locomotives, where you've got a tender on a locomotive, a steam train, you test in both directions, because worst case scenario, it could have come off. Stop the loco please. We're going to put some carriages on now and see how it does. Okay, when you test these locos, it's always important to test it pulling a realistic load. And here we go, this is a nice slow speed, slower than you would run it, but it's always worth testing. I mean, if you're going to run your loco around like a Scalextric's car, then obviously you don't have to test it like this, but the important thing is there's no derailing. The loco is able to pull the realistic load despite the inertia of the carriages on the tight bend without any issues whatsoever. And can we speed it up please? That's an express speed, which is probably about that, and see how it runs. And you can see, obviously bouncing it through the point at an express speed is no problem whatsoever. Right, the other direction at express speed, and we can see not a problem. Radius 2 into radius 2 curve points. We're testing into the far slower speed now to see if it manages it okay. The only real issue is the loco on its own really slowly, with the tender facing the opposite direction to what it is now, i.e. the tender facing in an anti-clockwise direction, is where radius 2 into radius 2 set track ST-245 is a minor issue. Last but not least, we're running it at, I would say, is our running speed, maybe a little bit faster. Radius 2 into radius 3, it's never going to be a problem. Nice slow speed. But as I say, when you're testing track, it's important with a steam engine you test the tender in both directions, or the whole locomotive. Both directions, and both directions with the loco running in an opposite direction to what it was before. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you found this test interesting. Thank you.